What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so I want to go ahead and continue with this top 10 ABA players listing. And just do a brief recap. At number 10, Louis Dampier. Number 9, Jimmy Jones. Number 8, on my list I had the Roger Brown. Number 7, the Horse, Dan Essel. Number 6, the Hawk, Connie Hawkins. At number 5, George McGinnis. At number 4, the A-Train, Artis Gilmore. So at number 3, I have Mel Daniels, one of the greatest players to ever play in the ABA. Perhaps the most dominant big man to ever play in the ABA. His only rival in that is Artis Gilmore. Whereas you could call Artis Gilmore the Wilt Chamberlain of the ABA, Mel Daniels was perhaps the Bill Russell of the ABA, or maybe to put it more fittingly, the Nate Thurman of the ABA. Whereas you could argue that Artis Gilmore never played up to his potential, his full potential. Mel Daniels was an overachiever. He played far beyond what most people thought he would be in the ABA, or at least beyond what most people thought he'd be in the ABA. And just to go over his resume as an ABA player, he's a 3-time ABA champion. Remember, the ABA only lasted 9 years. 2 times he was the ABA MVP. He's a 7-time ABA All-Star. He was the ABA All-Star Game MVP in 1969, 4 times All-ABA First Team, once All-ABA Second Team. He was a 1967-68 ABA Rookie of the Year, the first year of the ABA's existence. Of course, he was on the ABA All-Rookie Team. 3 times he led the ABA in rebounding. He is also on the ABA All-Time Team, and I believe he's the all-time leader in rebounding in ABA history. The all-time leader. And for his career, I think he averaged greater than 16 rebounds per game. Matter of fact, let's look at his ABA numbers before I go forward. In the ABA, he averaged 19.4 points, 16 rebounds, including 4.6 offensive boards per game, 48% shooting from the floor, 68% from the line, and tenacious play in the post. So that's 19.4 points and 16 rebounds per game for Mel Daniels. Mel Daniels was born on July 20th. He would have recently, if he was still alive, have turned 79 years old. But he was born July 20th, 1944, Detroit, Michigan. And he was, I'm trying to look at some of this stuff about him. Mel Daniels attended Pershing High School in Detroit. Pershing High School also produced Spencer Haywood, Ralph Simpson, Kevin Willis, Ted Sizemore, and Steve Smith. And that's Ralph Simpson, not Ralph Sampson. Will Robinson, physical education teacher and basketball coach at Pershing High School, recalled Daniels being absent from PE class for a few weeks. So Mr. Robinson went looking for the truant Daniels and finally found him in the hallway and ordered him to the gym. A few days later, Daniels still had not appeared in class, so Robinson went looking for him again. The way Mel Daniels, then a sophomore, remembered it, he was ordered by Coach Robinson to report to the gymnasium at 3:30 p.m. to join the basketball team. "Chief, I want you in the gym today," Daniels recalled Coach Robinson telling him. "If you're not in the gym, I'm going to come get you and beat your ass." Will Robinson would win two state championships at Pershing, becoming the first black NCAA Division I coach at Illinois State in 1970, and later scout for the NFL Detroit Lions and NBA Detroit Pistons. Daniels was slow to earn playing time in high school, playing sparingly in junior varsity games his first 2 seasons. He was also slow in running fitness laps under Coach Robinson's direction. "Jesus Christ, he would always be a bad last," Robinson recalled. "Not just last, but a bad last." Yeah, that sounds like me. Yeah, that was me, boy. That'd be me first up until senior. The guys would lap him. He had a winning spirit. He tried all the time after he found out the swing of things. Ted Sizemore, later a Major League Baseball player, was a high school basketball teammate of Daniels and recalled, "Will worked him. One thing Mel never did was give up. He kept coming back and Will made him work. And he just kept developing and developing. He just did a lot of work, a lot of drills, footwork, handling the ball. He just got coordinated all of a sudden." After growing to 6'9", Daniels showed his potential as a senior, and Robinson helped him secure a scholarship at Burlington Community College in Iowa. Daniels continued to improve in college, playing the 1963-64 season at Burlington Community College in Burlington, Iowa. Daniels averaged 25.2 points and 10 rebounds per game and was named a Junior College All-American. While at Burlington, Daniels was recruited to play for the New Mexico Lobos by Coach Bob King. Daniels transferred, playing for New Mexico from 1964 to 1967, averaging about 20 points per game in his New Mexico Lobo career, and was named an All-American. Starting as a sophomore in 1964-65, the 6'9" power forward played in 27 games and averaged 17 points and 11.2 rebounds as New Mexico finished 19-8. During the 65-66 season, Daniels suffered a severe injury when he put his arm through a glass door at Johnson Gymnasium, requiring 352 stitches and almost ending his athletic career. The sutures notwithstanding, Daniels missed 1 game and averaged 21.2 points and 10.3 rebounds as the Lobos finished 16-8. The team the next season won a school record 17 straight games to start the season as New Mexico climbed to number 3 in the national rankings. Daniels led the Western Athletic Conference in scoring at 21.5 points, along with 11.6 rebounds as New Mexico finished 19-8. For his career, Daniels averaged 20 points, 11 rebounds in 77 games at New Mexico. He had 44 career double-doubles, still the most in school history. Daniels was the 9th pick of the 1967 NBA draft, selected by the Cincinnati Royals, now the Sacramento Kings, and was also drafted by the Minnesota Muskies of the ABA. He chose to play in the fledgling ABA. After rejecting Cincinnati with Oscar Robertson, Daniels became the first NBA first-round pick to snub the established league and go to the ABA. At that time, it wasn't about money for me, but 2 + 2 is still 4. Daniels said of his decision to go to the ABA. "I was offered $15,000 by Cincinnati as a bonus and $17,500 as a salary. I was offered $15,000 as a bonus in Minnesota and $30,000 as a salary. So the higher number somehow won out." Yeah, I can understand that. Daniels' decision to play in the ABA led to great success for him. Daniels won 3 ABA championships, was a 2-time ABA MVP, a 7-time ABA All-Star, and led the ABA in rebounding average in 3 different seasons. Daniels is the ABA's all-time leader in total rebounds and second in ABA career average rebounds, behind only Artis Gilmore, who I just told you about, averaged 17.1. Daniels had 1,608 career postseason rebounds in the ABA. As a rookie in 1967-68 with the Muskies, Daniels was named the ABA Rookie of the Year. He averaged 22 points and led the league with 15.6 rebounds in 78 games, as Minnesota finished 50-28 under coach Jim Pollard. I believe it's the same Jim Pollard that played for the Minnesota Minneapolis Lakers in the 1950s. Minnesota lost to the eventual ABA champion Pittsburgh Pipers with Connie Hawkins in the 1968 ABA playoffs, as Daniels averaged 25.3 points and 16.1 rebounds in 10 playoff games. After the 1967-68 season, Daniels was traded to the Indiana Pacers for cash, reportedly $75,000. Jimmy Dawson and Ron Kozlicki, as Minnesota was experiencing financial difficulty. Minnesota moved to become the Miami Floridians after the one season in Minnesota. With the Pacers in 1968-69, Daniels was named the ABA MVP as he averaged 24 points and an ABA leading 16.5 rebounds. With Hall of Fame coach Slick Leonard taking over from Larry Staverman as the Pacers coach early in the season. In the 1969 ABA playoffs, Indiana defeated the Kentucky Colonels 4-3 before losing to the Oakland Oaks with Rick Barry 4-1 in the 1969 ABA Finals. The next year, the Indiana Pacers won the ABA championship with a 4-2 series win over the Los Angeles Stars in the ABA Finals. Daniels averaged 18.7 points and 17.6 rebounds in the regular season, as Indiana finished 59-25. Hall of Famer Roger Brown, Bob Netolicky, John Barnhill, and Freddie Lewis helped lead the Pacers to the ABA title. Daniels averaged 19.3 points and 17.7 rebounds in the playoffs. In 70-71, the Pacers finished 58-26, as Daniels was again named the ABA MVP. He averaged 21 points, a league-leading 18 rebounds, and 2.2 assists. The Pacers were defeated by the Utah Stars 4-3 in the Western Division Finals in the 71 ABA playoffs. Daniels averaged 21.4 points and 19.2 rebounds in the playoffs. Good God! In 1971-72, the Pacers added Hall of Famer George McGinnis. They then won their second ABA title as they defeated the Denver Rockets 4-3, the Utah Stars 4-3, and the New York Nets with Rick Barry 4-2 in the 1972 ABA Finals. Daniels averaged 19.2 points, 16.4 rebounds, and 2.2 assists as Indiana finished the regular season 47-37. Daniels averaged 15 points and 15 rebounds in the playoffs. The Pacers won their third title in 72-73, as Daniels averaged 18.5 points and 15.4 rebounds alongside McGinnis, as the Pacers finished 51-33 on the year. In the 73 ABA playoffs, Indiana defeated the Denver Rockets at the time, 4-1, and the Utah Stars 4-2. In the 1973 ABA Finals, the Pacers defeated the Kentucky Colonels, who had Hall of Famers Artis Gilmore, Dan Essel, Louis Dampierre, and former Pacer teammate Rick Mount 4-3 to capture the championship. Daniels averaged 15.9 points and 13.8 rebounds in the playoffs. In his last season in Indiana, Daniels averaged a double-double, 15.4 points and 11.6 rebounds in 73-74. The Pacers finished 46-38 and lost to the Utah Stars in the Western Conference Finals in the 74 NBA playoffs. Daniels averaged 12.2 points and 11.4 rebounds in the playoffs. In 74-75, Daniels, along with Freddie Lewis, was traded to the Memphis Sounds for Charles Edge. Roger Brown joined them in Memphis as well. Early in the season, Daniels suffered pulled stomach muscles and missed a month. Then, he fell in the bathtub and injured his back, ending up back on the injured list. His back problems were chronic. Daniels averaged 9.8 points and 9 rebounds, the first time in his career that he averaged less than a double-double. In 75-76, the Memphis Sounds relocated and became the Baltimore Claws. The Baltimore franchise was suddenly disbanded after 3 exhibition games due to financial difficulties. The Baltimore Claws players were then available to other ABA teams in a special draft. The 31-year-old Daniels was passed over in the resulting dispersal draft, as other teams were likely wary of assuming the contract he had with Baltimore. Daniels decided to retire from the league rather than play for another ABA team. He then played in Italy during the 1975-76 season. After the merger, as the Spurs, Nuggets, Nets, and Pacers merged with the NBA, the remaining ABA teams were disbanded. On October 19, 1976, Daniels signed as a free agent with the New York Nets, and on December 13, 1976, he was waived by the Nets and retired. He played with the Nets for just 11 games during the 76-77 season. After retiring as a player, Daniels joined the coaching staff of his college coach Bob King at Indiana State University. There he coached future Hall of Famer Larry Bird and helped the Sycamores reach the 1979 NCAA Final, where they were defeated by Magic Johnson and Michigan State, ending an undefeated season. After his tenure there, Daniels joined the Pacers coaching staff in 1986. After 7 seasons as assistant coach, he moved to scouting and eventually the front office and was the team's director of player personnel until October 2009. Daniels had an 0-2 record as interim coach of the Pacers in 88-89. He replaced Jack Ramsey, who was fired after an 0-7 start. George Irvine and later Dick Versace were the head coaches who followed. If my memory serves me correctly, and someone could correct me if I'm wrong in this one, but I think the first game of the 2015-16 season for the Pacers, Mel Daniels was in attendance in that game. He attended that game. And then the next day, he was supposed to meet his former teammate, I think I mentioned his name, Bob Netalicki. He was supposed to meet him for dinner or lunch or something like that. And he never showed. And they couldn't get in contact with Mel. So Bob Netalicki went to Mel Daniels' ranch and found him deceased. And that's how it was found out that Mel Daniels had passed away at the age of 71. Appeared to have been from complications due to heart surgery. And I remember when that happened, and one of the great players in ABA history, one of the great players in ABA history, had passed away. And it's just a shame that the ABA is not really known by today's fans. They're not really. It just drives me insane when I hear people say, "Oh, I mean the ABA, yeah, those guys. I mean, you know, they were just cab drivers." Like, shut the fuck up, man. Just shut up. If you don't know anything about it, don't just dismiss it because you're such an arrogant asshole that think you know everything that you just dismiss something you don't know about. But anyway, I hope I didn't screw the video up like this, having my little temper tantrum. But it just pisses me off when I hear these idiots on TV. Oh man, the NBA. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but they had to suck because I didn't hear anything about it. But anyway, much respect to the great Mel Daniels, man. May he rest in peace. And to me, he's the third greatest ABA player of all time. Tell me what you guys think.